media, you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks. We got lots of stuff coming up. What's up? Let's talk about Tour of Flanders. Tour of Flanders yesterday, amazing race. We know who won. Tadej Pogacar won. That was just an amazing performance. Well, we got to talk about my man Benny. Benny had a little misfortune yesterday. He crashed at, they were going downhill. They were going pretty fast. And I can see when, just before he crashed, guys were actually coming in, and I can see him reaching to touch guys on the guy in front of him on the hip, like, yo, come on, you're coming too close, you're closing me up. So I've done that, and usually you're able to you don't have to reach out. You can use your hand and just because your hand's still on the lever, so you can just touch the person in front of you and say, yo, on the hip or something, because your handlebar is usually the height of someone's seat and stuff, or even on the leg, so you can just put your finger out and say, yeah. But if they're that far in front of you, well, not, a little further forward than that, out of the reach of your hand, then you have to reach out. So I can see him, on the descent, and that's pretty dangerous right there. So you're putting yourself in danger by taking, one hand on the bar to reach out. And you can see just as he crashed, he overlapped the wheel in front of him. So he went over, and then he went straight down, and he rolled. He did a barrel roll a couple times. And then the, bikes behind him crashed into him. So unfortunate for that for Benny. And the funny thing is that in the beginning of the race, they were sort of just riding, chilling. And he wasn't really near the front or anything. He was just riding near the back. And then as they started to get into the harder, like the smaller bergs, the smaller cobbled climbs, these climbs are small, but they are tough. They're cobbled and they are really steep. So they take their toll. And in the earlier climbs, he was looking, this was right before the crash. He's 4th, 5th over the top of the climbs, maybe 6, 7, 8, but he was definitely in contention. And he was keeping himself in contention, which was a good thing. So I don't know how he would have fared later on against Pogacar, because he dropped Van der Poel, he dropped Wout van Aert, and I just don't know how he would have fared towards the end of that. So I think that Pogacar would have got the better of everybody, because that last climb was to Pogacar's liking. Even though it was short, it was still steep, but it was a bit longer than the rest of the climbs. So, that's where he had the advantage, where basically he could get into climbing mode. Because you're on the cobbles, it slows you down. So now it puts you in climbing mode. Now, if it wasn't cobbled and it's a little smoother, you can actually assume a little bit more speed, and not as much climbing technique is needed, and you can just beast the climb. But when it's like that, you need a bit more technical, more climbing, more climbing type technique. Oh, Pogacar's man went to the front, or in the earlier small climbs there, he went to the front, and he pretty much, the main thing was Pogacar was putting himself in good position. So Pogacar had his guys up front, and he was third wheel going, starting each climb. And also what I noticed, which seemed weird, was that it's almost like Van der Poel and Wout van Aert were conceding to Pogacar because they wasn't riding his wheel. I just thought that was strange. Going into the climbs and stuff, they would be maybe 8, 10 wheels back, when they should have just right on his wheel, because that would have given him the best chance. So what happens is that if you give Pogacar all of that space, so he's a strong climber. He's as strong. He's as strong as, if not maybe a little bit stronger than you on the climbs. So you don't give him any daylight. So now he's 8 bike lengths ahead of you, and you got to make up that ground. As you can see here, the distance between him and the Pogacar and Wout van Aert and Van der Poel. It's just this doesn't seem to make sense. Why are you giving him so much leeway? So that means he gets a chance to soft pedal a little bit more or a little longer, while Wout van Aert and Van der Poel are basically using everything, all of their energy to get up to. So you're burning a lot of matches to get up to Tadej Pogacar. So you're burning a lot of matches. And I'm hats off to the rest of the guys, everybody else that was in the race, because there was a lot of guys in the race. So it wasn't just the 4 guys, Vinny and Grib. Tadej Pogacar, Wout van Aert, and Mathieu van der Poel. So it was quite a few quite a few riders in the race, and congrats to everyone that finished. Too bad, unfortunate for Vinny Gourmet once again. But like I said, he was in the hospital overnight for observation because he did suffer a concussion because he did go down pretty high. But back to Tadej Pogacar and Van der Poel and what went on. He got up to the break. You know, they formed the break. They got away. I believe Tadej Pogacar, you know, did the damage. And Wout went out, and Van der Poel got up to his wheel, and they were able to stay there. And then they started, like, you know, working together. And then they had one more rider that they caught up to who wasn't doing anything. He was just sitting on, so you can't blame him because he'd been in the breakaway. So anyway, so he sat on. And then coming up to this next climb, as we see, as they hit the climb, just as they get going, Van der Poel drops the chain, or he misses a gear. And he almost drops the chain, but he doesn't. So in this, Wout van Aert and Pogacar open up a little bit of a gap. So that means, you know, Van der Poel has to close the gap, and he does. So he's sort of like riding, like you can see him trying the tempo, just trying to get back to him, and then he realizes he's not catching up. And then the other thing he realizes is he has to get to them before they get to the top, because once they get to the top and they start hitting speed, it's going to be, you know, so much harder to make up that ground once they're rolling at high speed. So Van der Poel he must put out at least 1,200 watts, and he just closes the gap. And there was a rider on his wheel, and he just like said goodbye, and he caught up to Van der Poel and to Tadej Pogacar. He caught up to Wout van Aert and Tadej Pogacar, just like that, and then he closed the gap. So, and then on the next climb they got to, like, and this is where all the damage is being done on these small cobbled climbs. On the next climb they were climbing, and Van der Poel just went boom, he just did another explosion. This time he didn't wait. He put the hammer down, and when he did that, they pretty much just dropped Wout van Aert. That was it. That was his day. That was him paid for the day. And Tadej Pogacar really got back onto his wheel. And he just about made it back onto his wheel. And he got back onto his wheel. And then when he did get back onto his wheel. So yeah, basically they were able to, when Van der Poel put in that massive attack, he was able to drop Wout van Aert. And then Mathieu Van der Poel and Tadej Pogacar were riding together, and until they got to that last climb. And they knew it, once they got to that last climb, I think Van der Poel knew that, you know, he had to do everything he could to stay on Tadej Pogacar's wheel. And he did. He rode really hard. And then it just got to that point where Tadej Pogacar was literally able to get into climber mode. And, you know, and that's what he is. He climbs really well. And he was just able to roll away from Mathieu Van der Poel. And at the top of that last little climb, he had 16 seconds. And then he opened up that 16 seconds, and that 16 seconds turned into 20, 25, 28, 30 seconds. So he had over 30 seconds by the time he got to the finish. So that was a pretty amazing win for Tadej Pogacar, who was able to ride the last, I believe it's the last 16 kilometers on his own, with Mathieu Van der Poel a further like 20 to 30 seconds behind, and to take second place. And then I thought Wout van Aert was going to be able to sprint for third place, but he didn't. He got picked at the line, and he came in fourth. And Wout van Aert he did crash. He did get a knock to the knee, and he just seemed like you know, to me it just seemed like he was a little bit tired. He was a little bit exhausted. He's done a lot of racing this year so far. Like, he's done the cyclocross season. He's won some you know, had some major battles with Van der Poel and Pitcock in the cyclocross season, and now he's got quite a few top places and wins in some of these classic and Belgian races and stuff. And with cycling, you stay at like a certain level for so long, and then you literally have to come off the bike, like stop racing or just chill out for a little bit and recharge and let the body recharge, because your body only stays up here for so long, and then if you keep going, then it just drops. And no matter how much training you've done, it'll drop from here. So if this is the top and this is your bottom, it'll drop to maybe halfway, and no matter how much effort you put out, your body will just stay like this. So basically, when you peak, is what we call it peaking. When you peak, you have to let you just come down, come off the bike, let your body recover, get some rest. And to me, that's what it looked like the way Van der Poel, Wout van Aert rode. Even though he's still going strong, it just looked lackluster, like he was giving it everything, because even in the sprint finish, that's not Wout van Aert, struggling like that at the end of a race. That's not Wout van Aert. And he just looked deflated. I wouldn't say defeated, because he was still fighting. He finished fourth place. He just looked deflated. And so we'll see what's up if he does Roubaix or if he misses Roubaix. But personally, we'll see. But personally, to me, it just looks like he needs a bit of a break for like a couple of weeks, and then come back. Or maybe even if he does Roubaix, he doesn't need to ride the bike or touch the bike until he does Roubaix. And I believe Roubaix is next week, if I'm correct. But anyway, that's it. Congrats to all the guys yesterday, and I hope Vinny, get well. Hopefully you are good soon, and then we will speak soon. Remember, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit your notifications. And don't forget to share. If you enjoyed this and you found this informative, and you like what I'm doing, share it. Tell your friends. Anyway, peace out. It's Libby. Stay with your legs. Stay with your legs, media. You know what we do. Stay with your legs, media. You know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks. We got lots of stuff coming up.